Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and today I have the first adult book tag for you. This is not about the first erotic novel you ever read. I might be in my car, but this does not mean that we are going dogging whilst talking about our favourite books. Of course, there is every possibility that you might have gone out before and snuck away one of your father's dirty magazines. That's not what this is about. This is about the first book that you read that was written for adults, for the adult market. It still sounds dirty. There is no way to stop this title from sounding dirty to a very dirty-minded individual such as I. Anyway, the first question is, notebook, very primordial? No. Primeval? Primitive? I don't know, it's one of those words. What was your first adult book called and who wrote it? It was The Lollipop Shoes by Joanne Harris, published in 2007, and the sequel to Chocolat, which was made into that film with Johnny Depp and that person who I can't remember, which I've never seen, but people either like the film and hate the book, or are able to appreciate them as two separate things, or do the complete opposite of liking the book and all that fun stuff. Anyway, next question. What made you choose this book? I didn't. Joanne Harris had written a children's book it's for teenagers, entitled Rune Marks, which is a story set after Ragnarok has happened, incorporating a lot of Norse mythology, and it was something that I really wanted to read based around seeing the cover when I went into W.H. Smith's. When I asked for that book for Christmas, my mum hadn't realised that Rune Marks was a teenage book. She had seen The Lollipop Shoes as well and thought, wouldn't it be nice to get Charlie 2 books by the same author for Christmas? I think they spent a lot of time around H's as well, because that was also the year that my father bought me The Ghost by Robert Harris. I still haven't read that book. I own that book. I will keep that book because of sentimental reasons, but you don't need to know any of this. Anyway, I never intended to read that book, but one day everyone was waiting for the bathroom in my house, and I was like, well, I'll just start then. And I started reading it, and that first line, I can't even remember it. But the first line had me hooked, and then I read the entire thing, and that's when I found out about Chocolat and all of the other books that she has written. What genre is it in? I think that it would be called literary fiction. However, there are definitely magical realism elements within there, and I quite like Joanne Harris's books because of that, because there is definitely always this sense of something magical underneath, even with the most not mundane of her books, but the books that you wouldn't think would have these things. There is something similar to what I find with Charles Dickens. There is a magic beneath the prose that I am exceptionally fond of. And yeah, Joanne Harris was the first person who I read, and I just really enjoyed what she did with words and the way she used grammar to fulfill her literary goals. Do you still read that genre now? Definitely. That's probably the book that got me into reading literary fiction in the first place. Yeah, it's all Joanne Harris's fault. Is the book still in print? Yes. Yes, the book is still in print. It also has a sequel. Again, Morning Mr. Magpie, entitled Peaches for Monsieur Le Carré. And that sounded like I'm saying licorice. I'm not. And then she has tons of other books that you really should go and seek out. Did you go on to read anything else by the same author? Yes, I became exceptionally obsessed with Joanne Harris. I became obsessed with Joanne Harris. Whenever a book came into the shop of hers, I borrowed it. I bought her books. I only own 1, 2, 3. I own 5 of her books now, because the books that I borrowed from the charity shop I took back. The books that I didn't necessarily think I would reread, I ended up bringing to charity shops because I needed space on my shelves. Should I ever actually move out of where I am now, move out and be able to have shelves and shelves of books, then I think I would definitely go out and buy some more of Joanne Harris's works, because she is one of my favourite writers. Oh, but yes, I would definitely also recommend Peaches for Monsieur Le Carré, and that entire Chocolat series, and what she calls the food trilogy. Also, her cookbook is great. I need to stop. Have you reread the book since? I reread the book a lot the first year that I owned it, because I read it just before Christmas of my GCSE year, and then when I went in to do my A-levels, we had to... I can't remember how it came about, but we had to write something. It was basically like writing fan fiction. And there was a bit in Joanne Harris's book that I was a bit curious about, to do with the mother, and so I based what I was writing on that one bit and wrote it from the mother's point of view regarding everything that was going on. And it was back in the days of MySpace, because I don't even know if I sent a message to the author, but I sent this message asking whether... Well, I can't say because it'll spoil the book, but I asked this question related to the book, and knowing afterwards that she was a English teacher and that she will tell you on Twitter not to do these things, later on I do feel incredibly stupid. But in my defence, I wasn't asking her to I wasn't writing an essay on the book. I just wanted to, if I wrote this chapter that I had to write for my coursework, I just wanted to be able to say, well, the author says this, so I can do it. I always had to look for a way to defend myself. I always went that one step further, because I always overthink things. I overthink them, which is why I end up sending messages to writers on MySpace in 2007, asking them things about their characters. I waited months for that reply. Months. Did you like it then, and do you like it now? Well, obviously, as you can tell, I adored that book, and it is definitely something that I would like to go back and reread. And I keep meaning to reread that book every Christmas, and I still haven't done it, and I feel not terrible about it, but I just feel like, why hasn't it happened yet? Because it's been 10 years since I first read that book, which now I've said that I feel incredibly old, and I wish I hadn't said it. But yes, it's been 10 years, so I really should get on to rereading that book, because, you know, I might have outgrown it. I might despise that book now, and if I do, then I will feel terrible, because I have very fond memories of reading that book. Who do you tag? Well, we know that I'm going to be tagging my friend Lily over at Wilde Reads. I'll be tagging my friend Lizzie at Lizzie Frost. Who else shall we tag? I don't know. I don't tag that many people. Who did I tag last time? I tagged a few people on Twitter. I don't know. If you want to do this tag, do this tag. I ain't gonna force your hand. I ain't gonna say do it on fear of... I won't say that, because that just sounds like internet bullying, doesn't it? If I say I'm not going to tell you that, yeah, I won't say it. He just won't say it. Anyway, I'm going to disappear now, because it snowed here, and I got to walk down to Waitrose and get us some milk, because we don't have any milk for the coffees. And for two people here, it don't matter, because they're on black coffee and hot water anyway, but to some of them, it matters a fair bit. It's the same way if you don't give them biscuits, there will be a revolt. The volunteers will run away to Mexico, where they will become drug lords, and I am still tired. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that be all.